Training camps are over. The preseason is underway. Why not do some NBA previews starting in the Atlantic Division and starting at the bottom of the Atlantic Division with the Brooklyn Nets, a team that's deep, deep, deep into the abyss with no light at the end of the tunnel for the foreseeable future, in large part because A, they decided to move from to Brooklyn from New Jersey, and B, once they got there, they decided they were going to steal Knicks fans who were unhappy with being, James Dolan owning their team, not realizing that fans are fanatics and in all likelihood we're not going to become Nets fans overnight because they decided to make a series of trades, like trading for Gerald Wallace from Portland for a couple of players in a draft pick who turned out to be Damian Lillard. That was bad. It just keeps getting worse. Atlanta, not so much. They traded for Joe Johnson, but that trade, Atlanta really didn't do anything with it. As a matter of fact, I think they traded that pick for Tim Hardaway Jr., which... but then the trade that in essence stole their basketball soul, and no, I'm not being hyperbolic about it, it literally was like selling your soul to the devil. The Brooklyn Nets to the Celtics trade is one of the worst trades so far in NBA history, at least in this century. And the funny thing is Boston hasn't yet done anything with them. I mean, they ended up getting like a bunch of picks. The first one, they ended up drafting, the Celtics did, James Young. And then Jaylen Brown, we don't know. And then they have the right to swap picks in 2017. And then the 18th first round pick in 2018. And even though, again, you can say, well, they've done nothing with it, yeah, it's the possibility that it could get better because the Brooklyn Nets are not only a popular pick to finish in last place in the Atlantic Division, but they're a popular pick to finish in last place in the NBA, which means the opportunity to pick first overall. And they're not even going to benefit from their misery. They did actually try to get, or at least have some hope for the future by trading away Thaddeus Young to the Indiana Pacers. Ended up picking Chris LeVert from out of Michigan, which, okay, at least you know what Thaddeus Young is. At least LeVert provides hope. The only way that they're currently going to alleviate some of their pain or misery that they're in and actually have future or have hope for the future is to trade away the two guys that may be able to bring back some pieces that are possible, or at least some draft picks probably later in the first round because they're going to be lottery protected. Something that the Brooklyn Nets really need to understand. But they ended up, Bogdanovich and Lopez are the two players, basically. And Sean Marks, who already made that first trade, the first-year general manager, they're going to be definite sellers, and they're going to hope that maybe there's kind of a bidding war, particularly for Bogdanovich, because in the new NBA of space and pace and whatever, he's absolutely a pure shooter who's got some size, and even though he may be a defensive liability at times, team that wants to win the NBA championship, or at least team that wants to come back at the Warriors with more shooting, may be interested in trading for him. As far as the players that will, in all likelihood, stay with the Brooklyn Nets, you have the signing of Jeremy Lin, who, let's just say it, he's not the Linsanity that he was. He's not as awful as Houston had him, or with the Lakers. He's a pretty good NBA point guard, and probably a starting point guard for a team like the Brooklyn Nets. At the bottom third of the team, a bottom third team in the NBA, maybe even the middle. And he's going to be running the offense that new head coach Kenny Atkinson, who's kind of got a little bit of a tie to Sean Marks because he was the assistant coach for not for Sean Marks, but for Mike Budenholzer in Atlanta. He's going to probably bring some sort of a similar offense, maybe even add some tempo to the offense and help guys like LeVert or last year's first-round pick, although he's not an offensive player, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, who I think has the ability to be a first-team NBA defensive player in the future, which maybe even starting this year, and maybe even in the small ball era, a guy who could win Defensive Player of the Year because he has the length and the athleticism and the size to guard all five positions. So what to look for this season if you're Brooklyn? Not much. I mean, hope that Jeremy Lin captures some of that Linsanity. That LeVert provides hope for the future. And speaking of hope for the future, that when you end up getting your first round picks back, that you end up having the opportunity to draft generational talents, kids that can are able to help you get right out of the cellar. Because right now they're going to be in this position for about the next 8 to 10 years. It looks like if they don't end up getting those generational talents. So hey, at least you have the Barclays Center. So no, that was just being mean. I shouldn't have said that. But bye.